Right now this morning, day one of the Trump presidency brings major changes from pardons to border policy.
And a weather alert day today as we get into dangerous cold conditions for minus 45-degree temperatures. I'll have more about that for you in just a moment.
This is News 8 Now this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Tuesday, January 21st, a freezing Tuesday out there. I wish I could think of a T word for cold. Terrible? We could try that.
I'll go with that. Let's go.
Terribly cold.
Terribly cold, and I'm going to tell you why. It's going to hold on to at least minus 45 or at least close to it as we go into at least the 9 o'clock hour this morning. We're also going to find ourselves possibly with some locations holding on to sub-zero daytime temperatures. We'll see some temperatures click on more along the lines of just near sub-zero temperatures, possibly up to about 6 degrees in some cases. So look at this, extreme danger. You can see it minus 35 to 45 degrees for local temperatures. Then we have the possibility for snow later on tonight going into the overnight hours. More likely you're going to be seeing it coming into Wednesday as again, about a 50% chance moving into your forecast. This is the weather warning that is in play. And it is so cold out there that frostbite can occur on exposed skin within 10 minutes of time. Current temperatures for you, as you can see, minus 24 in Ladysmith, Eau Claire at minus 22, going into La Crosse at least minus 16 degrees. And man, oh man, it is feeling it out there with that cold. Even though it's cold out there, we've got some southwesterly winds popping in later on as we go into the 11 o'clock hour to at least 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's not going to change the temperatures though for you. We're not going to get that warmth until we get into tomorrow. So you can see how breezy and cold it's going to be at the same time, with switching temperatures going into Wednesday. Again, with the wind switching out of the northwest, and that means snow is on the way in your forecast. When I come back, I'll give you a better overview of how that all plays out for you. So please stick around. I have more to come for that.
All right, Art, we'll see you later. As the dangerous cold continues this morning, La Crosse's Emergency Warming Center will reopen today. That center, located at the La Crosse Public Library on Main Street, welcomes anyone needing shelter from the brutal cold. Doors will open at 8. It'll stay open till noon today. Dangerous cold is shutting down schools across the region as well. More than 75 districts are closed today. That includes La Crosse, Chippewa Falls, and Viroqua. You can find a full list of closures at news8000.com. And the cold can take a toll on farm animals as well. News 8 Now's Allison Fergit takes a look at how one farm is working to keep their cows safe.
On a dairy farm, there are no days off, even when it's freezing.
Overall, we're doing everything we can to make sure our cows are warm as they can be, as healthy as they can be, and have the tools they need to take care of themselves.
Like all of us, Wisconsin's dairy cows are dealing with the extreme cold. While their higher natural body temperature makes them better equipped to deal with frigid weather, they still need a little extra help.
That's going to be feeding them a little extra feed. Dad said usually we feed about 60,000 pounds of feed a day, and we have upped an additional 10,000 onto that in order to make sure that the cows have the calorie intake they need to stay warm and continue to produce milk.
At the Service Family Farm, there are no heaters in the main barn. They're keeping it locked up tight to keep the cold out. But in conditions like this, milk production dips.
It's one of those times of year where you just hunker down, hope for the best, and we just have to brace for impact and do what we can, do what we've always done, and weather out this bad weather.
The Service Farm is organic, and they let their cows out to pasture as often as possible. Right now, Service says the cows would only be outside for an hour max. While the adult cows can better handle the temperature drops, the calves require more assistance.
I have to make sure the milk that they get in the mornings is nice and warm. It's so important that they have warm milk in the morning, especially when it's this cold out, because otherwise it takes more energy, more calories for them to digest it.
Service says cows are resilient, but their farm hands are focused on keeping them comfortable in times like this.
Cows are very, very good at taking care of themselves, and we're just here to serve them.
Reporting at the Service Family Farm, Allison Fergit, News 8 Now this morning.
And because of the cow's body heat, they can withstand temperatures below 20 degrees before feeling any stress from the cold. A reminder, you can track weather on your block by downloading the First Warn Weather app. You can find that in the App Store or on Google Play. This morning, President Donald Trump is starting his first full day back in office. Already fallout after Trump signed a flurry of executive actions yesterday on issues like immigration, federal workers, and energy on his first day back in office. The president also issued pardons for roughly 1,500 people imprisoned on January 6 related crimes. A busy day for Trump, who took the oath of office inside the Capitol. As we take a live look at the White House, CBS News' Jared Hill has more from Washington.
So help me God. And with that, President Donald J. Trump began his second term. In his speech, he vowed to rescue a nation that he described as in decline.
The golden age of America begins right now.
In the midst of the inaugural parade, moved inside a D.C. arena due to frigid temps, and inaugural balls, where he danced with First Lady Melania Trump. The president signed roughly 200 executive orders, rolling back dozens of Biden-era policies in the process, including pulling the U.S. again out of the Paris Climate Agreement. President Trump also offered clemency to all of the nearly 1,500 people charged or convicted in relation to storming the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
We're going to release our great hostages.
Their supporters demonstrated outside a D.C. jail last night. President Trump is already facing legal challenges over his executive action creating the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, and another that attempts to end birthright citizenship, which is enshrined in the Constitution. Trump also signed an order declaring a national emergency on the southern border and others targeting immigration. Nationwide, cities are already bracing for mass deportations.
People are afraid. People don't want to leave their homes. People don't want to send the kids to school.
Meanwhile, the Senate yesterday approved its first of Trump's cabinet picks, former Florida Senator Marco Rubio, now to be Secretary of State.
Other executive orders signed by President Trump yesterday include hiring freezes and return to office mandates for federal workers, as well as a delay on implementation of the law effectively banning TikTok if it doesn't separate from its Chinese-based owner. And the Senate marking the start of the new Congress by passing the Laken-Riley Act. That is the first major legislation since President Trump was inaugurated. The bill requires Homeland Security to detain undocumented immigrants charged with burglary, theft, and other specified crimes. The legislation bears the name of Laken-Riley, a Georgia college student who was killed while jogging. Authorities say the suspect is a Venezuelan national who had entered the U.S. illegally. The House is expected to take up the measure this week. If it passes, it'll then head to the president's desk. The U.S. government expected to run out of its nearly $36 trillion borrowing power today. Former President Biden's Treasury Secretary sounded a warning in a letter to Congress last week, saying her department would need to have begun to take, quote, extraordinary measures to pay the government's bills. Yellen said those would continue through mid-March. That puts Congress on the clock to get something done to avoid a first-ever default. A sentencing hearing is set for this morning in a 2021 fatal overdose case. 26-year-old Lathan Foster will appear in La Crosse County Court at 9 a.m. In October, he pleaded no contest to manufacturing and delivering narcotics as part of a plea deal. Prosecutors dropped a first-degree reckless homicide charge in exchange. He was originally accused of selling fentanyl to a West Salem man who died of an overdose. We're also learning more this morning about a deadly weekend shooting. Police say 42-year-old Justin Betts is the man who died. 28-year-old Cody Allen is in custody as the shooting suspect. Investigators say an argument led to gunfire on the 1800 block of George Street. Betts died at the scene from gunshot wounds. The Minnesota State Fair is raising ticket prices. Prices will increase by $2 across all age levels. An adult ticket will now cost $20. On-site parking will cost $25. The fair says the price hike is to help fund renovations and cover rising operational costs. Wisconsin Supreme Court candidate Judge Susan Crawford met with voters in Richland Center and Viroqua. Crawford has served as a prosecutor, private attorney, and judge. She says she's running her campaign on common sense and justice for all.
I am going to be a fair, impartial justice. I use common sense in making decisions, and I'm going to uphold our laws and uphold our Constitution and make sure everyone's rights are protected.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court race will be on the spring election ballot April 1st. The time now is 6:09. Still ahead on your morning news, champagne sales are down for the second year. TikTok temporarily back online, and nothing but cake stores now required to have Sunday hours.
Tires may all look alike, but there may be a difference when it comes to quality and performance. I'm Skylar Henry with a look at what Tires Consumer Reports is recommending.
And as we head to break, a burst of color from Amsterdam to brighten your morning. Thousands of tulips transforming the city's Museumplein garden into a rainbow garden for National Tulip Day. After a morning fireworks show, visitors from around the world gathered to pick free flowers. The annual display by Dutch tulip growers kicks off the season in the Netherlands, the world's largest tulip producer. There's the fireworks show. Wow, beautiful. And as you start to wake up this morning, leaving you with a quick wake-up call with the city that has the most golfers per capita than any other U.S. city. Kind of surprising, that's Minneapolis. Minnesota still looking dark and cold there this morning. Stay with us. Your morning consumer news is coming up.
Dear Winter, our squad of vehicles with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is ready. Bundle up, Toyota.
Right now, lease a new 2024 Tacoma for $319 a month. Toyota. Let's go places.
Attention business owners. Start 2025 confidently with Your Choice Roofing, your trusted partner for commercial roofing solutions. Our expert craftsmanship and premium materials ensure a roof that stands the test of time. Don't wait. Our schedule is filling up fast. Get ahead of the rush and secure your spot now to protect your building and your bottom line. Visit yourchoiceroofing.com today to get started.
It's a textbook case. Out of sight, out of mind.
Couldn't they see the signs?
Here, look at the autopsy report. The signs are all there. A plugged vent, rust buildup, dirty flame sensor, and loose wiring. No sign of maintenance. The list goes on and on.
What about the filter?
Don't get me started on the filter.
Well, what does your gut tell you, Rook?
Gotta be someone close to the victim.
Someone with access.
I know who our suspect is.
If you suspect something is up with your HVAC system, call G&T Heating and Air Conditioning today.
Hey, Dominic here. We always get asked, what do you have for burgers? With over 40 blends at our outlet store, we recommend these four: all-purpose, beef and more, steak and game, and Lena's Ufta. First, you need ground beef, preferably from a local meat shop. Mix in 2 to 3 teaspoons of pleasing per pound, make into patties and grill to your liking. All four of these will make great tasting burgers, and they're all low in sodium. Get these seasonings and more at the outlet store. And buying local always tastes better.
Let River City Grill be your new lunch destination. Whether it's corporate lunches, parties, or events, we have the space and food for all of your gathering needs, big or small. We offer an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. with unlimited soup, salad, pizza, wings, and so much more. There's something for everybody. Stop by the bar and pair your delicious lunch with one of our many beers available on draft. River City Grill, Winona, Minnesota.
So that no matter what mess you brought into this church today, no matter what addiction and what struggle, no matter how many times you've doubted God or questioned God, that because of Jesus Christ, God's not holding it over your head. Instead, there is this amazing grace, there is this unconditional love that you and I can say, God doesn't just put up with us. God loves us.
Join Pastor Mike Novotny each Sunday. Watch Time of Grace on Channel 8, WKBT.
Dear Winter, our squad of vehicles with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is ready. Bundle up, Toyota.
Right now, get 1.99% APR for 72 months on a tough new Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Well, good morning to you. As we do know, we have a weather advisory today in the form of winter weather warning in play. You can see all that blue that's out there right now. There it is right there, the warning. Again, the wind chill is such that you could possibly see frostbite on exposed skin within 10 minutes of time. So please take this seriously as we go through this morning hours here with colder air coming out of Canada. That continues to bring in extreme cold warning for us as well. And the cold wind chill, in fact, is still going to stay with us as we go through most of the day today. today. However, this warning may expire at the noon hour. We have light snow, possibly well up to the north and to our east there over Lake Michigan, so a little bit of lake effect snow happening there. We'll also find ourselves getting into the wind gusts to pick up later on as we go through the late morning hours into the early afternoon, and then switching to the southwest. These winds will also be pretty extreme as we get into it here, picking up to at least 18 to 20 to 30 miles per hour in some cases going into the daytime. And you can see by 3 o'clock that's still holding on, but it may even pop up a little bit more so by the 6 o'clock hour during your evening commute, and then getting up to at least 30 miles per hour as you can see finishing out your commute as this system starts to bring in possibly a little bit of snow in the forecast. We'll also find ourselves with current temperatures right now. La Crosse is minus 16, Eau Claire is minus 22 degrees right now, and it feels like so much colder on your skin working across the area. Minus 35 in La Crosse right now. When I come back, I'll have a better overview of how this all plays out for you. So if you're heading on out, prepare yourself for all of this cold. Back to you, Alexandra.
Thank you, Art. And champagne sales have lost their fizz. Shipments of bubbly from France dropping close to 10% last year. That marks the second time in as many years that champagne sales have fallen flat, according to an organization that represents thousands of wine growers. French luxury giant LVMH likewise posted a significant drop in sales over the first half of the year. Officials say the popping of the champagne bubbles come partly because economic fears about the future are making people less likely to have celebratory drinks. And as we've been telling you all morning, Donald Trump has delayed TikTok's shutdown for a few weeks, signing an executive order that delays enforcement of the ban for 75 days. But again, it just delays enforcement. No permanent solution yet. Nothing Bundt Cakes is ending its Sunday closure option for franchise owners. The bakery chain now requiring all stores to open at least 5 hours on Sundays, a policy shift that is stirring up controversy. Franchise owners say the former Sunday closure option was key in their decision to invest. You probably don't think about the tires on your car quite often, but choosing the right set is important to making sure that your vehicle performs correctly and stays safe. Skylar Henry found out which tires the experts are choosing.
Every year, Consumer Reports tests hundreds of tires in all types of conditions to find which perform the best.
So we test them for everything from their dry and wet braking abilities to snow traction to how long they'll last.
Ryan Pizolkowski is Consumer Reports tire program manager and says for cars and small SUVs, the Michelin Defender 2 gets the highest overall score. The tire received high marks for braking, hydroplaning resistance, noise, and has a tread life of 100,000 miles.
Those are the things that should mean something to you because they could prevent you from getting in an accident.
2 other Michelins received the highest ratings for mid-sized SUVs and sports cars. And when it comes to trucks, the Continental Terrain Contact HT takes the top spot.
Continental always finds itself at the top or right below, especially with their truck products.
And no matter what tire you choose, it's important to keep them properly maintained. Experts say you should rotate the tires on a regular basis and check the pressure every month. A tire with too much air can wear out the tread in the middle. Too little can damage the outside tread, and both can increase the risk of an accident.
The tires, I would argue, is one of the most important parts of the vehicle system. So making sure that they are in tip-top shape is radically important.
That includes checking the tread length. Pizolkowski says you can stick a quarter in the tread. If you see the top of Washington's head, it's time to start shopping for new tires.
That was a look at your consumer news. We'll send it over now to News 8 meteorologist Art Jarrett. He has a look at our alert day.
All right. Oh, George. Oh, George. No new tires today, sir. Hey, as we get into it here, prepare yourself now. As we go through this morning, going into the afternoon, we do have this wind chill that continues. Possible minus 45-degree temperatures all the way down to, or all the way up to at least minus 35. We could see some sub-zero temperatures as once you get up to areas by Ladysmith and, of course, Eau Claire, getting around I-94. You're also going to be seeing this affects folks in Minnesota as well as in areas into Iowa. That being said, the extreme dangers I mentioned between minus 35 to minus 45, and that type of danger could cause a frostbite within 10 minutes of time here. We're also going to be seeing the light snow in the forecast as well for you later on today. You may see that show up in your evening forecast, but most of it's coming back again in the overnight hours, actually hitting the ground. So again, the winter weather warning that is in play right now for all of this cold weather conditions in the forecast. You can see your current temperatures and how cold they are right now. We'll also hold on to the wind chill tracker, and I'm going to just kind of shuttle this through as we go to the 9 o'clock hour, pretty much through the noon hour as well. It's still minus 28 Ladysmith, Eau Claire, and of course La Crosse at minus 18 to minus 25 degrees. We'll hold on to the 3 o'clock hour once we're getting our highs, but you're going to be seeing pretty much minus 20 to at least minus 17 for Eau Claire, minus 12 for La Crosse. It is going to be a cold day, despite having these winds coming out of the southwest. As we go through the afternoon into the evening commute, you're going to be seeing this continue on, where the winds are up to at least 30 miles per hour in some cases, possibly. Then coming back again as we go into 6 o'clock, and we're talking the PM hour for the evening commute for tomorrow, where these winds are up to at least 30 miles per hour as well, coming out of the northwest with colder air coming in and snow potential on the way. How about this, though? For highs for today, you're looking at least minus 4 to about 6 degrees for your high today, so a very short thermometer. We'll go through the 7 o'clock hour where you're holding on to these minus degree temperatures, single digits possibly for most areas south of Eau Claire. Then you're going to be getting into snow, possibly coming in the forecast, crossing the Mississippi. This is a slight chance until we get deeper into the evening, where you're going to be seeing by 9 o'clock going all the way to midnight, snow possibly starting to hit the ground by Ladysmith down to Eau Claire, then eventually extracting itself down to the south, as you can see here, holding on to La Crosse, and then continuing on to 5 a.m. in the morning. That breaks now as you get into some clearing up to the north by Ladysmith and Eau Claire, where you're having most of the snow down by Prairie du Chien, possible Eau Claire down to La Crosse, and holding on just along south of I-90, and that continues on all the way to the 3 o'clock hour, with another batch coming in from the north with a light flurry or two kind of pushing through from Ladysmith to Eau Claire, getting the 6 o'clock hour, the 7 o'clock hour to the 9 o'clock hour with your evening commute, of course, and then tapering down for you. We'll see that continue to push down to the south, and it's pretty much done. Your highs for Wednesday, you're looking at mostly cloudy skies and breezy conditions, at least 23 to about, say, 29 to 31 degrees out there. We'll hold on to the snow tracker coming in, trying to get into night, but you can see mostly up by Ladysmith. By the time Wednesday is through, we're seeing maybe about an inch of snow possible on the ground. We'll carry over into 3 degrees today, 27 degrees for tomorrow, where you warm it up a bit for you, then colder air comes back again, not as cold as what we've been experiencing. Then we go into Friday and Saturday with temperatures going back to seasonal averages and into the mild to begin your weekend. Back to you, Alexandra.
Thank you, Art. Still to come, one Wausau wrestler helping grow the sport for the next generation. Maddie Lee went from watching UFC fights to becoming a state qualifier. Now she's inspiring more girls to join the mat. Her story when we come back.
Coming up in the Blitz, area gymnasts gathering for an MVC meet in Holman, plus some non-conference ladies hoops action in just a bit.
An epic weekend of ice fishing along the Mississippi River in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin at the 75th annual Prairie du Chien Ice Fishery, January 30th through February 2nd. A tradition that started in 1950, the Prairie du Chien Ice Fishery is celebrating a milestone year with live music, great food, a ton of fun, and a chance to win prizes all weekend long. Learn more and register for the 75th annual Prairie du Chien Ice Fishery at prairieduchien.org.
If you've been hurt in an accident, you need the experienced attorneys of Schwebel, Getz & Sieben.
After the accident, hiring Schwebel, Getz & Sieben was one of the best things I ever did.
They were thorough, compassionate, and just really made us feel at ease right away.
Jim always had a plan. He was always very thorough.
It was phenomenal, the level of service that I received.
I highly recommend Schwebel, Getz & Sieben. They're the best.
Representing accident victims for over 50 years, Schwebel, Getz & Sieben.
Susan Crawford. She's the prosecutor who locked up violent criminals, the judge who's kept them off the street, and the leader who fought for abortion rights. On the Supreme Court, she'll look at the facts and uphold the law. Fair, impartial, common sense. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
For me, being a judge is really pretty simple. There's right and there's wrong, and I'll always do the right thing for Wisconsin.
Taco John's just married a taco with a quesadilla. Well, they're more like grilled all-white meat chicken and creamy fiesta sauce with melty, cheesy benefits. But OM Cheese, they're good together. The new OM Cheese Quesadilla Taco at Taco John's.
We see you out there, giving your whole heart to what you do. That doesn't mean you have to give your whole wallet, too. It's why we make sure that as you find your way, you can find value along the way. Like 50-pound bags of Blaine's Black Oil Sunflower Seed, $19.99. $7 off select Neutrino Loyal Life puppy food. And save $130 on these men's Ariat boots.
That's what I'm talking about.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Welcome to the Blitz. Well, with freezing temperatures outside, a lot of events canceled last night, but over at Holman High School had girls flipping and twisting during an MVC gymnastics meet. All right, let's go there. Vikings joined by lacrosse, Onalaska, Sparta, and Tomah. First up on the vault, Tomah's Maya Mayer coming down the runway, flies through the air, hits the landing for the Timberwolves, top scorer of the night. Lacrosse's Elena Wagner had a solid night. Here she is on the floor, put together a nice routine. Wagner would finish in 5th in the all-around. Taking 3rd in the all-around was Onalaska's Eva Dreyer. Here she is on the floor. That was good for 9.45, second best floor routine. Sparta's Gabriella Björkman took 2nd in the all-around. Check out the dismount off the beam. Great landing. That was good enough for 9.375. And the all-around champion goes to Holman's Katie Lang. Here's her vault. She would have the top score in 3 of the 4 events, totaling up to 36.7. Vikings would also take 1st as a team with a score of 138.35. Cochran Fountain City traveling to GET, not letting a little cold get in the way of some girls' hoops. Early in this one, Helene DeJager gets some space on top of the key and connects, helping the Redhawks stay with the Pirates early on. But CFC would pull away. Addie Dwellman steps through in transition for the lay-in. And then Mackenzie Wenger drives and finds Anna Connect, who swings it over to Aubrey Smith with a mid-range jumper to keep the offense rolling. Visitors would extend their lead in the second half, and the Pirates would get their 9th win of the year, 62-33. Well, back on Saturday, a couple 42-point halves helped the Badgers get past USC to improve to 5-2 in conference play and cap off a 2-0 week. With the week, Wisconsin moved up from number 24 to number 18 in the latest AP poll. Despite Wisconsin's top scorer, John Tonje, not logging a single point, UW was still able to hit 84 on the scoreboard, behind 28 from John Blackwell and 18 from Max Klesman. Big one tonight against 12-6 UCLA at 8:30. And the Ohio State Buckeyes, your 2025 college football national champions, with a 34-23 win over Notre Dame last night. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Chart your career with a fabricator position at Chart Industries. Starting wage up to $30 per hour with no experience necessary. Excellent pay and awesome benefits. Apply now at jobs.chartindustries.com.
Brad Schimmel, prosecutor, attorney general, rule of law judge. Schimmel put pedophiles behind bars, took on criminal illegals and cartels, protected kids and seniors from abuse.
Law school taught me the rights of the accused, but justice for the abused is denied all too often. I'm Brad Schimmel. On the state Supreme Court, I'll apply the law equally, because everyone has the right to feel safe.
Schimmel, for justice.
Attention business owners, start 2025 confidently with Your Choice Roofing, your trusted partner for commercial roofing solutions. Our expert craftsmanship and premium materials ensure a roof that stands the test of time. Don't wait, our schedule is filling up fast. Get ahead of the rush and secure your spot now to protect your building and your bottom line. Visit yourchoiceroofing.com today to get started.
We're an implant-focused practice. I think the advantage of a father-daughter practice is, I've been at this for 30 years now. I learned things that worked well and things that didn't work so well.
And it was fun to be able to just jump in and kind of complement that. I feel like it made both of us stronger. You don't expect it when you walk into a dental office. You don't expect the family aspect, but when you walk into our doors, we're going to give you that.
If you think you have a full mouth of challenges, come see us. Come down for a free consultation.
You'll find the Ram you're looking for at Pischke Motors in West Salem or Pischke Motors in La Crosse.
Start 2025 off right with a new Ram during the Start Something New sales event. Stop into Pischke Motors now to save over $10,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn, plus save an additional $3,250 with conditional incentives. Come see the all-new and redesigned Bighorn with unparalleled durability, towing, and hauling. Hurry in, this offer ends January 31st.
Start your search at Pischke.com and then drive away in your new Ram.
Chart your career with a fabricator position at Chart Industries. Starting wage up to $30 per hour with no experience necessary. Excellent pay and awesome benefits. Apply now at jobs.chartindustries.com.
The News 8 Plus app. Local news on your time. Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
The Red Cross says more than 10,000 blood and platelet donations have gone uncollected in the first 2 weeks of the year due to wildfires and severe winter weather. It's rare for the organization to see wildfires affect its blood mission since they tend to be more prevalent in rural areas. But the Red Cross says as the wildfires continue to burn and affect air quality in densely populated areas, the number of blood drive cancellations has grown. New research reveals wider health benefits from popular weight loss and diabetes drugs. A study shows GLP-1 medications may lower the risk of more than 40 health issues, including cancer, dementia, and joint problems. Researchers say more study is needed to confirm the potential benefits. More and more physicians in Minnesota are leaving the field, meaning some hospitals are having to cut or relocate some of their services like labor and delivery. As Jonah Kaplan explains, there's real concern among health officials there won't be nearly enough doctors in the future.
I mean, there's nothing like having a parent come back and tell you how much you helped them.
Dr. Robert Karasov was a pediatrician at Park Nicollet for nearly 40 years. He retired last year, even though he said he probably could have gone a few more.
The last several years, I'd keep saying to them, like, you'll let me know if you think that I'm staying too long. And they'd say, no, we want you to stay.
That wasn't just lip service. Dr. Karasov is part of a growing list of physicians leaving their positions that are proving very hard for health systems and hospitals to fill. According to the Minnesota Medical Association, 20% of all doctors are expected to exit the profession in the next 5 years. At the same time, the association's president, Dr. Edwin Bagunko, projects Minnesota will need an additional 1,200 primary care doctors by 2030, a nearly 30% increase of the working ranks now.
Is the problem that too many physicians are burning out? Or is it just not an attractive vocation anymore?
The pace at which our population is growing, our healthcare needs are growing, has far outpaced keeping up in terms of training physicians and healthcare workers. We're behind the 8 ball. It's a national crisis if you look at it.
This isn't about looking ahead either. It's an issue right now. Check out this data from the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development. The vacancy rate for pediatricians is more than 30%. For family medicine, it's 8.5. OBGYN, 7.6.
One has to be worried because we're facing an unprecedented sort of workforce shortage. It's just a reality.
Hospitals in Minnesota and across the country have blamed that reality for their cutting or relocating services. In Minnesota, that's happened nearly 20 times just in the last 4 years. Pediatrics and labor and delivery have been hit the hardest, especially in rural areas. Dr. Bagunko thinks medical students are choosing other fields because they pay more. And that's a big deal considering the cost of medical school.
How we pay for services of our physicians is very heavy on how much technology is used. So people who, for example, have procedure-based specialties tend to get paid way more.
Dr. Bagunko admits that dynamic is unlikely to change, but he says what can be done is to create different incentives, like leveraging student loans with working in family medicine in a rural community.
We do better as a community and as a society when we have good primary care. Those are the doctors that keep us healthy. make sure our diabetes is under control, our blood pressure.
Dr. Robert Karasov says he's on board with that thinking, and he has a message for anyone thinking about med school.
Connecting with patients, having intellectual stimulation, having personal fulfillment. You're not going to be happy in your career if you're driven primarily by money.
While hospitals struggle with hiring doctors, there is good news when it comes to hiring nurses. According to the Minnesota Hospital Association, the number of nursing vacancies went down last year for the first time since the COVID pandemic. Viterbo University, meanwhile, honoring some local Indigenous leaders, including Henry Greengrass. He was the recipient of the MLK Jr. Leadership Award. Greengrass received the recognition for his work with La Crosse's Indigenous communities. The award celebrates those who carry on Dr. King's legacy by promoting diversity and fighting oppression.
Our history is not taught within schools, and I've mentioned before that Ho-Chunk history is La Crosse history, but a lot of people don't realize that. Ho-Chunk history is Wisconsin history. Ho-Chunk history is United States history.
The Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Award was established in 2009. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Onalaska School District staff turned a day off into a day of service. More than 60 volunteers partnered with Great Rivers United Way, tackling 11 projects at local nonprofits. The group contributed nearly 150 hours of community service.
It's so meaningful to us. We're so thankful. We got a lot of things here, a lot of jobs, a lot of tasks. So to have people come in and spend their time to give back to our program is super meaningful.
If you're looking for volunteer opportunities, you can visit Great River United Way's website. Over the years, wrestling has become a more diverse sport with more female athletes taken to the mat and proving that wrestling is not just a male sport. Nolan Bullman shows us one of those high school female stars who's taking down the competition.
Growing up, Maddie Lees carried plenty of fight from within. Taking part of Taekwondo and being a fan of the WWE's helped, but one influence stood out above the rest.
I saw Ronda Rousey and she really influenced me and got me into UFC, so I started watching her fights.
Amazed from what she's seen, Lees turned that admiration into aspiration.
In second grade, I had the dream of being in the UFC and start doing all this MMA stuff. 3
years in at Wausau West, Lee's taken part of a skyrocketing program.
When I came to Wausau West about 8 years ago, we had 2 girls that were on the team. They were able to grow it to 4, and then we grew to 8 and 22, and the growth is just incredible.
Becoming a foundational piece from the beginning.
Maddie's definitely been part of the building of the program. She's been wrestling forever.
Though Lee's achieved plenty, including a state berth as a freshman, she's also become an asset for her teammates.
She's very comforting for all the other girls, and she makes sure that everybody knows what's going on in all those situations. Takes a lot of time to explain things to the younger wrestlers and just make sure that everybody feels involved.
While Lee and her warrior counterparts are shining bright on the mats, she's encouraging others to help make that future even brighter.
I mean, there's times where you lose a match and you think it's the end of the world, but you just have to know that you just have to keep going and everything is gonna come out better. It's all part of the plan.
Coach Mo believes Wausau West girls not only have the potential to build a championship team, but a dynasty. We'll send it over now to meteorologist Art Jarrett. He is building his weather dynasty, and he has a look at our morning commute. Turn the heat on, right, Art?
Yeah, exactly. You really just love that word dynasty, don't you? That was something else. All right, you know it's cold when you look all the way down to the south and New Orleans is getting snow. And that's just one thing that's happening right now. If that continues, though, our cold is kind of tracking out of the area slowly but surely as we go right into tomorrow. We'll get into warmer conditions as that cold front leaves. Then we have warmer air coming in. And then behind that, more colder air comes through as we go into Wednesday, into the evening hours with, again, another cold front on the way. Now, as we finish out, you're going to be holding on to this there, getting into your forecast, looking at conditions to be pretty similar to the next couple of days, where we hold on to, again, extreme cold weather that's holding on for today, minus 35 to minus 45. Dangerous stuff that could bring frostbite frostbite within 10 minutes of time. Low chance of snow, as I mentioned before, coming in for today, but once we get in the overnight hours and into tomorrow, that snow takes place. We could get up to about an inch of snow, which we haven't had in a while. In fact, if we had the snow right now, we'd be a lot colder than you think it is right now. Holding on to the wind chill, as I mentioned before, you can see all this happening here as that winter weather warning is in play till the noon hour. This is what it feels like on your skin now, minus 22 in Eau Claire, La Crosse at minus 35 degrees right now. I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this cold that still holds on to this area right now. The wind chill tracker by the time we get in the noon hour, minus 28 for Ladysmith, Eau Claire minus 25, minus 18 for La Crosse as we can finish out holding on to La Crosse forecast from 7 a.m. to the 1 o'clock hour. Whole lot of sunshine with temperatures still in the minus 0 degrees by at least 1 o'clock in Eau Claire, so holding the sunshine all the way to at least noon. You're looking at minus 7 degrees out there. I have more about that coming up for you about this. But Kenny Chesney has announced a Las Vegas residency. All right, here we go. We'll have more on the announcement and the ticket dates after the break. Stick around.
We've done many, many renovations. We bought an old house and have made it into an up-to-date house. Whenever anything involves plumbing, the first call I make is to Maxwell White. Their technicians put together a great final product.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun they're having, it's easy to take for granted how they warm up, by the fire, or simply adjusting their thermostat. But for some of us, it's not that easy. Some of us need to decide whether to heat or to eat, or to further neglect our basic survival needs. We are working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans, all struggling to pay record heating bills. These dangerous temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for us, they can be deadly. If you are struggling to decide if you can put food on the table or heat your home, please reach out for a hand up. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
To everyone who's hungry for something special,
Culver's is the place for us.
Hi, what can I make fresh for you today?
It's nice being greeted by people who are glad to see you. And I appreciate that they use real ingredients, like fresh beef and Wisconsin cheese. The frozen custard is so fresh and creamy, it tastes like it was made just for us.
It's our pleasure.
Just spending time with family, that's what mealtime at Culver's is all about.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious!
This is Kathy. She's about to see her dentist. She's afraid. Not because of the drill, but because of the bill. A big bill. But Kathy doesn't need to be afraid, and neither do you, thanks to affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. It's easy to get this coverage. Don't believe me? Call or go online for all the details. You could even have this free information kit. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance. It helps pay for over 400 procedures. That's a lot. I'm talking cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures. Bottom line, you'll have help paying for routine care and expensive major work. But if you want deductibles, forget it. There aren't any. No annual maximum either. Plus, you can see any dentist you want. Stop fearing the big bill. Start saving at the dentist. Call now or go to sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Here at Maxwell White, we know how valuable your time is. From issues with your hot water to slower clogged drains, our team is always on time with friendly service and solutions you can trust. Don't wait. Contact Maxwell White. Plumbing done right.
All right, as we go into your forecast, this is what I have for you here this early morning here. Zooming this in a little bit closer, you can just follow all of that colder air kind of zipping right through us right there as we continue on through the day. Well, you can take a look here as we zoom on in. You're going to see that colder air that we've been experiencing right now is going to start to lift out of the area gradually as we finish out the day going into tonight, and then eventually snow starts to become part of our forecast as we go into it. You can see Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the morning, snow's trying to crease us to the north there, and then trying trying to get down to the south as it finishes out. We'll hold on to that, kind of driving down to our south as well, holding on to areas right by Prairie du Chien and Bosqueville for the better part of the day, finishing out going into your forecast. Dangerous cold conditions, though, right now that we're holding on to. Minus 45 degrees we could possibly see in some cases to about minus 35 this morning. We'll also find ourselves with this extreme cold that sticks around. Then we'll get into the possibility of snow, likely a light chance of that happening as we finish out the evening hours going into the overnight hours, and then that snow hits the ground, holding on to at least maybe an inch or less of snow in the forecast. We'll get into it here. You're going to be seeing this is the winter warning that's in play. It is widespread today, and it is no joke. Current temperatures, you can see how cold it is out there right now, but on your skin, it is much colder as we go into the 7 o'clock hour. You're holding on to minus 30 for La Crosse, minus 33 for Eau Claire. We'll get into the 9 o'clock hour, and it's still fairly similar to get into it all the way to the noon hour, minus 28 to at least minus 18 as you get into La Crosse. By 3 o'clock, when we're getting towards our high, quote unquote, you're looking at minus 20 degrees for Ladysmith, Eau Claire at least minus 17, and then minus 12 for La Crosse. Finishing out by the 4 o'clock hour, it's going to be fairly cold, but by that time, we're already seeing the winds coming out of the west, northwest, and it normally would get us a little bit on the warmer side. That's not really going to happen with all that cold that's been hitting the surface without any type of a snow cover or at least any type of protection as far as clouds are concerned to keep us warmer. Then by the time we finish out, as we go into the afternoon and evening hours for Wednesday, those winds flip the script on us and we get more of that west-northwesterly cold air again. We'll also find ourselves with snow possibly getting in the forecast as well, hitting the ground and continuing to do that to finish out how we finish out for Wednesday, possibly maybe a touch for Thursday. That's up in the air as a slight chance. We'll also see highs for Tuesday. We're looking for today holding on to at least a minus 4 to about 6 degrees out there. We'll get into the forecast as we finish out going into the morning hours, then into the afternoon. You're going to be seeing snow as a part of our forecast, which is a slight chance, increasing clouds. We'll also find ourselves into the evening commute with a slight chance, but still maybe a flurry could possibly hit the ground, but most of it comes in later on tonight and overnight. Well, we'll see that snow trying to moving down and kind of creasing us. That's when those winds switch on us, though, and we're going to see more breaks coming in as those winds are still breezy and gusty, opening up that cloud field. You see mostly up to the north where they're going to get a lot colder still going into Wednesday, but still holding on to temperatures pretty much in the 20s for us to go into the forecast. As we finish out and go into the next 8 days, this is what I have for you. We're going to be experiencing conditions like this going into at least 3 degrees today with a weather alert day. Tomorrow you're holding on to slightly warmer conditions near seasonal average to 27 degrees. That colder air I told you about coming back again with another cold front. That's going to drop us down to 16 degrees for our high, 1 degree in the morning for your low. You'll also find ourselves getting into Friday and Saturday, going into Sunday with temperatures back into seasonal averages, or at least near to the cold. I should say at least until at least the mild comes in on Saturday. Back to you.
In our Morning Buzz report, Kenny Chesney is headed to Las Vegas. The country singer announcing a residency at the Sphere later this year. Fans of the When the Sun Goes Down singer speculated that Chesney might be planning a show in Vegas after a post from the Sphere showing a video of a beach scene with a blue chair, guitar, and cowboy hat, all references to Chesney. Tickets go on sale on Chesney's website on the 31st. Regal Theaters are going high-tech with 4,000 new laser projectors. The cinema chain's deal with Barco promises sharper pictures and greener operations compared to older digital systems. The upgrade, they say, will be finished by 2030.
Sitting at this bar, I'm gonna put my phone on the table, it gets swiped. These pictures start showing up. Tons of selfies of a guy with an orange tree.
When Matt Stopera wrote an article about the strange pictures in his iPhoto stream, it went viral in China. The documentary Brother Orange details how he traveled to China, met the man in the photos, then the pair formed a deep international friendship. Brother Orange is now available on digital platforms.
It's over! You can't, sir. You cannot. Yes, I can!
The Brutalist is under fire for its use of AI. The filmmakers used an artificial intelligence program to make the Hungarian accents of Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones more authentic. Director Brady Corbett defended the film, saying Brody and Jones' performances were all on their own. Oh, I know that's in contention for the Oscars, so interesting if that will make an impact. And before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
How about Henry? He's turning 8 months old today. He loves to laugh and spend time with his family and friends.
If you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next.
Up on CBS Morning's team coverage of President Trump's whirlwind first day in office, John Dickerson breaks down everything from the inauguration to sweeping executive orders and January 6 pardons. Plus, Tony spoke to Trump supporters unable to attend the festivities because of that bitter cold weather. Also, who would have guessed a hat? You thought a hat would have caused so much attention on Inauguration Day. Yes, Miss Melania Trump. We'll talk to the designer who made the hat worn by the First Lady. And actor and performer Frankie Grande is here to talk about his villainous role in the Paramount Plus film Henry Danger, the movie. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.
Your job title shouldn't define you, but in the job I'm running for, it should. I'm Brad Schimmel, and justice is my life's work. Helping Wisconsin's most vulnerable, stopping elder abuse, taking on human traffickers, putting pedophiles behind bars, and leading the Sexual Assault Kit Initiative, clearing 4,000 backlogged tests so survivors could finally get justice. For me, it's not a title. It's my mission statement.
Does Random Starship Mortgage sponsor your kids' T-ball team? I doubt it. Firefighters Credit Union is a strong, reliable lender that has been a proud member of the community for nearly a century. Trust Firefighters Credit Union for your next home loan. Call Matt or Troy today.
Everybody's welcome at Firefighters Credit Union.
Increase your home's energy efficiency and enjoy year-round comfort with Asher Lasting Exteriors. Our windows and doors combine quality craftsmanship and cutting-edge innovation from the trusted brand Renewal by Andersen, and our team provides expert installations backed by industry-leading transferable warranties. Take advantage of our biggest savings ever and receive up to 25% off your entire project. Connect with our team today and request a free, no-obligation consultation at goasher.com.
Hip, knee, or back pain? See if Arch Supports can help you at the Good Feet store.
For the best quality, value, and selection in fine furnishings, there's no place like home.
This adorable shelter pet wants to meet you and your family today. The News 8 Now Pet of the Week is brought to you by Wisconsin Veterinary Orthopedics.
The News 8 Plus app. Local news on your time.
What is a hero? Not the kind from comic books and movies saving the day. We're talking about everyday heroes, those with a special kind of courage or ability, those saving the day, one person at a time. News 8 Now wants to find those heroes and thank them for bettering our community. Go to news8000.com, click on Features, then Hometown Heroes, to nominate someone you feel is truly a hometown hero.
Welcome back at 6:52. Time for your morning news now. We're learning more about a deadly weekend shooting. Police say 42-year-old Justin Betts is the man who died. 28-year-old Cody Allen is in custody as the shooting suspect. Investigators say an argument led to the gunfire in the 1800 block of George Street. Betts died at the scene from gunshot wounds. President Trump launching his second term with sweeping changes on day one. He pardoned January 6 defendants and declared a border emergency to halt asylum claims. He also moved to exit the World Health Organization and Paris Climate Accord. Legal challenges are expected. The Senate has passed a bill that would require federal authorities to detain migrants accused of theft and violent crimes. The Laken Riley Act is named after a Georgia nursing student who was murdered by a Venezuelan man last year. The bill now heads to the Republican-controlled House and will likely be the first measure that President Trump signs into law. The U.S. is set to hit its $36 trillion debt ceiling today. The outgoing Treasury Secretary warned Congress last week that her department would start taking extraordinary measures to fund the government and pay the bills through mid-March. Congress now faces a deadline to act and prevent the nation's first ever default. Minnesota State Fair tickets are going up to $2 with adult admission hitting $20. Parking will jump $5 to $25. Wisconsin Supreme Court candidate Judge Susan Crawford met with voters in Richland Center and Viroqua. Crawford has served as a prosecutor, private attorney, and judge. She says she's running her campaign on common sense and justice for all.
I am going to be a fair, impartial justice. I use common sense in making decisions, and I'm going to uphold our laws and uphold our Constitution and make sure everyone's rights are protected.
Wisconsin Supreme Court race will be on the spring election ballot. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Onalaska School District staff turned a day off into a day of service. More than 60 volunteers partnered with Great Rivers United Way, tackling 11 projects at local nonprofits.
It's so meaningful to us. We're so thankful. We got a lot of things here, a lot of jobs, a lot of tasks. So to have people come in and spend their time to give back to our program is super meaningful.
We have a link for volunteer opportunities on our website. As dangerous cold continues, La Crosse's Emergency Warming Center set to open in a little over an hour. The center at the Public Library on Main Street will welcome anyone needing shelter from the cold from 8 this morning until noon. And some schools are closing today because of the cold. A lot of schools, more than 75 districts are closed today, including La Crosse, Chippewa Falls, and Viroqua. You can find the full list on our website.
You hear that big yay as you get out to it. It is a weather alert day today. You can see these dangerously cold conditions as we go through the morning hours and then kind of peeling off a bit as we go into the afternoon. However, clouds do increase and snow chances are likely as we go into the overnight hours as well. So also, we're also going to be seeing possibly about an inch of snow in the forecast. We'll see this cold weather stick around as we go right through tomorrow. Then we get into those colder conditions, at least again coming back for Thursday. Then we're back into temperatures around 24 to 31 degrees as we slide into your weekend. So get out and enjoy it if you can for the good looking weekend ahead.
All right, thank you. A vacation blooper turned into viral gold after a tourist dropped phone captured an unexpected underwater adventure. Lena Nasiri was recording her swim in Tulum, Mexico, when her iPhone inside of a waterproof case slipped from her grasp. The lifeguard recovered the still recording phone, which had captured a stunning I'm getting sick. It's moving so fast. Right? It's captured a stunning underwater world. Yeah, there's a fish, complete with curious fish swimming by. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Yeah, all right. Well, thank you for starting your morning with us. We will see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your Tuesday. Talking too much today. See you back here later.